Hi, this is Mike and Marsha today, and we're going to be talking about discipline.
Woo.
Which is a really important issue.
Very important. I love getting whooped.
It doesn't feel good, but we all need it sometimes.
Yeah, that's a really good subject, you know, and it takes a lot of flack in today's school and government. We was talking about that before the show, about discipline and whooping and spanking and all those kind of things, but we need that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, if we never got a spanking, then how would we learn?
Right.
You know, from our mistakes.
Some of you need it quite regularly.
Yes.
Y'all know I can't say my R's very good, so you have to. I used to have a good friend in school, Ted Thornburg. Man, he used to make fun of me for the way I said R's. I just kind of slurred them. I couldn't always say a word like that very plainly, so I had to kind of stay away from the R words. But discipline is a great thing, and I think about my mom, you know, disciplined me. I can remember twice, and I think it happened in the same week that my mom, it wasn't a spanking, it was a switching. And she switched me, had me running in circles. And the thing about discipline is so many people think, well, you can't beat a child, you'll hurt a child, but if it's done by somebody that loves you, that cares about you, like your mom and your dad, and I'm not talking about abuse. We're not talking about somebody that's really trying to hurt somebody, but somebody where you've been rebellious and you got an attitude and you need an attitude adjustment. She straightened me out really quick, and that was the only 2 times I can remember my mama switching me.
Oh wow, I got them weekly. It was a weekly thing for all of us kids.
Yeah, we know how much of a problem child you were, though. No, we were all like that. We all got, you see that attitude? See, it's still there. No, we always had, you know, my mom, when she switched me, it was because she loved me.
Right.
And man, I respected her after that. I mean, when she said jump, I jumped. You know, when she, you know, it's because it was the right thing to do. Now she did smack me one time in the face. And a lot of people say, "Oh my God, your mama smacked you in the face." They would have called DSS on her. But you know, I was talking to she was introducing me to my kindergarten teacher. And she said, "Mrs. So-and-so," yeah. She said, "Mrs. So-and-so, this is my son Michael. Michael, this is Miss So-and-so." And the teacher asked me a question or something. I said, you know, and boy, she popped me across the cheek and said, "You say ma'am, yes ma'am." And to this day, I say ma'am and yes ma'am, sir and no sir. And my sister, you know, used to give me the hardest time. She said, "Mama, tell Michael to stop calling me ma'am," you know, because I was so scared to say anything else. Boy, I'd say ma'am, yes ma'am to my sister.
She put the fear in you.
She put the fear in me, and that's a good thing. People need to have respect and manners these days.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's what correction does. Tell me about some of your experiences, Marsha, as far as correction. I think we've got enough time to probably cover all this.
Like I said, it was a weekly thing. I used to go to my friend's house, Don Parlier, and it would be around supper time and my mom would get out there just screaming. Well, you know, you'd be flaying. You wouldn't want to come home. Right. So whenever you did decide to come home, she'd be hiding behind the house or a bush. So when you got into the yard, boy, you better run.
You better be hit the yard running, huh?
She would get me good. And this is the funny thing. Like, when it was time for my brother and my sister to get a switching, as you would call it, they'd say, "Marsha, go outside and get a switch." Well, honey, I'd get the biggest one I could find off the golden bell bush. It would be like a stick. Yeah,
that's Pastor Holly was talking about that one day when her dad was going to give her a whipping, you know, and she said she went out in the woods and she's like dragging in some kind of limb that fell down from a tornado or something like that, and her dad got so tickled that he couldn't even whip her, you know. So that's my dad used to tell me stories like that when they were in school. In my dad's generation, they used to have to, the teachers whipped them.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't do that in school no more.
No, but now when I was young, we got paddlings.
Yeah, we got paddlings too. I can remember my 2nd grade teacher actually taking my hand, and some of you probably can relate to this, and she bent my hand back and pow with the paddle. Well, it wasn't a paddle; it was actually a ruler. A ruler. And you know, the kids need that these days. You know, they say that you can't discipline your kids. When it's done in love and with respect and for the concern of the child, it's a good thing. Now, I'm not talking about, like we was talking about earlier, abuse or somebody that's really trying to hurt children, but somebody that's really trying to train up a child in the way that they should go.
So that when they get older,
they'll not depart. Now, I haven't departed since, you know. So I'm so thankful for that. But it says in Proverbs, Marsha was reading this earlier, in Proverbs 3, verse 11 through 12, It says, "My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction." Now, we're talking about it's chastening, right?
Yeah.
Now, she said it's chastening. I say it's chastening, but she's probably right because, you know, me and my southern speech, but whatever, it's some kind of whooping for him. "My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of correction. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, even as a father the son to whom he delights in." And that's kind of shows what correction's really all about.
That's right.
It's coming from a loving parent.
That's right.
And they want to see you be the best that you can be. And, you know, in the society we live in, they've taken the Ten Commandments out of school. They've taken the Bible out of school. They've taken prayer out of school. They've taken correction out of school. And what do we have?
We have a messed up, I don't know what
It was messed up. I got kids killing each other. I got, you know, instead of having the Bibles at school, we've got gun detectors. You know, kids have to go to school and walk through a gun detector. And
yeah, it's sad.
it is sad, and that's just because we've eroded our standards. And when you take your standards, when you take God, when you take that discipline out of the schools, it's replaced with violence. You know, because the Bible says also in Proverbs that a child left to his own, you know, will bring sorrow to his mother's heart.
That's right.
And you know, that's the way it is in anything. We got to have that standard in our life. We've got to have that discipline in our life. And when you do it at a young age, like my mom, she whipped me. I was probably 6 or 7, somewhere right in there. And that was the only time she ever had to whip me. Every time, I mean, you know, never again did she have to whip me because I got the message. Now, my dad whipped me once. Mama was pretty much the person that raised me, but my dad, I did start a fire, threw a match in a trash pile out on the street one day.
Just being a boy.
Just being a boy, just struck a match through it, and it actually caught on fire. And one of the aerosol cans blew up on one of my friends.
Oh, wow.
And it cut her leg.
Wow.
And I can remember my daddy and the neighbors, they were running to the house to get trash cans full of water, putting this thing out just because of something stupid I'd done. Well, my dad was mad.
Oh,
and he pulled the belt out.
Yeah.
And he laid me across the couch. And he really, I think back, I cried. I acted it up pretty good. You know, because my mama was screaming at him. My mom didn't want my daddy to whip me, you know, and I was, you know how a kid do, you know, we just start crying. And my dad, he did whip me, but it really didn't hurt that I can recall, because my mom was really trying to intervene on him. But that was the only time my dad ever whipped me. But I didn't strike no more matches either. You know, so kids need that discipline in their lives.
They do.
They need some kind of direction, you know, say, hey, this is the right way to go. This, you know, don't go this way. You know, so they're really trying to do it for our protection.
And it seems like as the generations, as the generations are coming up, it seems like that they are more corrupted because they don't have that structure. They don't have that discipline in their lives.
Right.
And it's sad. I mean,
it is. It's so important that we have that standard. And you know, I want you guys to email us at MikeandMarsha.com and kind of give us some of your stories, and we'll share them on the air here and let you know some of the funny things that you've had with your parents disciplining you, or a school teacher, something like that. And you know, it's always fun to hear things like that. So. Oh
yeah, and we want to mention
Chris Garner.
Yes, Chris Garner. He is a local business here in Morganton. It's his business is TPS Photography.
Right.
And so if you are looking to get summer pics, you need to go by and see him.
Yeah.
You can actually find him on the web.
Right.
But we want to start recognizing local businesses in this area.
Sure. You know, we want to see people prosper and be blessed, and we know it's a tough economy. And you know, I've been listening to a lot of teaching on money and debt, and we'll talk about that one day this week. You know, about how to live within your means and things like that.
Yeah.
So, we love you guys. Visit us at MikeandMarsha.com. Thanks for listening. Marsha, anything you want to say before we close out?
Go
get a switch. Go get your belt. Stay away from that mom's backhand. I'm gonna give her mom a hard time about hiding in the bushes. That's pretty funny. I can't wait to see her. So,
yeah.
We love you guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.